Rachel Zegler is unbelievably charmless in public.
She was, as woke as they are.
She just sounds bitter and angry.
I don't think they're going to buy it. I don't think they're going to watch it. I don't think they're going to like it.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
This truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry.
Rachel Zegler, she's an asshole.
You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
You should shut up.
Spend 1 minute on Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live-action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
And, you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea.
If anyone could ruin a Disney classic before it even made it to theaters, it was Rachel Zegler. That's exactly what happened with the live-action Snow White. The film was meant to be Disney's next big thing, a billion-dollar fantasy, a magical retelling of a beloved story. But instead of breaking records, it crashed and burned. And at the heart of the disaster, Zegler herself. This wasn't just another movie that didn't do well. It became a full-blown controversy, and fans had a lot to say, most of it angry. From the moment Rachel started talking about how much she disliked the original Snow White, things went downhill fast. Instead of showing love for the classic, she acted like she was there to rewrite it, with a tone that made people feel like she was saying, "I know better than everyone else." At first, Disney probably thought they struck gold. Rachel could sing, she had that Disney princess look, and she already had awards under her belt. But once the casting news dropped, social media went wild, and not in a good way. Many fans weren't just disappointed, they were furious. Comments like, "Snow White is supposed to be pale as snow," started trending, and the backlash kept growing. Things really took a turn when Rachel started dragging the 1937 animated film in interviews. She said the original focused too much on love, and that the prince was basically a stalker. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Fans didn't want to hear their favorite childhood story being torn apart like that. They wanted a tribute to the classic, not a full-blown lecture. Instead of keeping things light and charming like most actors in her position would, Rachel took aim at the very story that made her famous. She claimed the new version wouldn't have a love story at all. No prince, no romance, just independence. While that message might have landed better in a different movie, Snow White fans weren't buying it. They wanted magic and heart, not a preachy message wrapped in fairy tale glitter. And Rachel didn't stop. In one interview, she joked that the male lead scenes might get cut. That felt disrespectful, not just to the actor, but to the whole cast and crew. Who was she to decide what stayed in the movie? She even complained about wearing the dress and said she should be paid more for every hour she had to wear it. It started to seem like she didn't even want to be there. Behind the scenes, things weren't looking much better. The production faced serious delays, set issues, and major costs. Then, another firestorm hit. Actor Peter Dinklage slammed Disney for including dwarfs in the remake, calling it backwards and outdated. Overnight, the studio changed course. The 7 dwarfs were replaced with CGI creatures, trying to avoid controversy. And of course, Rachel added her voice again, acting like she was the hero who made it all better. But little person actors were outraged. "She's acting proud while we're losing roles," said one viral comment. People in the community felt like they were pushed aside in the name of progress, and Rachel's online attitude only made things worse. Then came the leaked photos. Those new magical creatures didn't look magical at all. They looked like something out of a low-budget cartoon, and fans roasted them instantly. Memes, jokes, and angry posts flooded every platform. At this point, the film was already in trouble, and Rachel kept digging a deeper hole. She spoke about the prince again, called the original movie creepy, and repeated that she didn't care for the love story. All this while claiming she deserved more money just for showing up in costume. It was like she was trying to rewrite Hollywood's entire rulebook on her own. But instead of coming off as powerful, it felt arrogant. What was supposed to be a magical, nostalgic return to one of Disney's most beloved classics turned into a cautionary tale. The movie hasn't even been released yet, and it's already become a mess that fans and critics are picking apart. Rachel Zegler, instead of winning hearts as a modern-day princess, has become a symbol of what happens when an actor takes the spotlight and turns it into a soapbox. Disney may try to salvage what's left, but the damage is already done. And fans? They just wanted a fairy tale, not a fight. Rachel Zegler opened her mouth again, and this time she managed
accusing
to
Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
Said even more people. Instead of building excitement for the movie, she seemed almost annoyed by the idea that a prince might save the day. In one interview, she said with a smug tone, "She's not going to be saved by a man. She's not going to dream about true love." She may have thought that was empowering, but a lot of fans didn't see it that way. People weren't looking for a political message buried inside a fairy tale. They just wanted the Disney magic they remembered from childhood. Comments started rolling in online asking, "If you hate the original so much, why'd you even agree to do the movie?" And it wasn't just hardcore fans who were frustrated, even casual viewers were tuning out. Memes, reaction videos, and boycotts started flooding social media. The whole thing began to feel less like a movie release and more like a PR nightmare. Zegler kept making things worse. Instead of calming things down, she continued to post snarky videos and sarcastic comments, brushing off the backlash like it was no big deal. She acted like people were just afraid of change, but that wasn't the issue. The problem was that the classic story was being torn apart instead of honored. Things got even messier when the controversy around the dwarfs resurfaced. Peter Dinklage, a well-known actor with dwarfism, criticized Disney for using little people in what he considered outdated roles. Disney quickly reacted by replacing the 7 dwarfs with CGI magical creatures. That decision upset actors who had hoped to play those roles. Many felt robbed of an opportunity, saying, "We don't get offered roles like George Clooney. These are the ones made for us, and now they're gone." Zegler didn't help the situation. Every time she spoke, she seemed to make things worse. Instead of bringing fans together, the movie was tearing them apart. What should have been a sweet feel-good remake became one of Disney's biggest disasters in recent years. By 2024, with the release date pushed to March 2025, you'd think Zegler might have tried to stay quiet and let things cool off. But no, she jumped back into the headlines after the US election, posting a moody photo and writing, "May you never know peace," aimed at Trump supporters. It came across as bitter and mean-spirited. Conservative commentator Megyn Kelly even blasted her on live TV, calling her a rude little punk and demanding Disney fire her. The backlash was instant. Boycotts picked up steam again. People on social media were saying they'd rather just re-watch the original cartoon than support the remake. Zegler tried the usual PR move, posting a teary apology and blaming her emotions. But by then it was too late. Most people weren't buying it. Her attempt at damage control fell flat. Behind the scenes, things were falling apart. Crew members started leaking stories. One source said the atmosphere on set was tense every day and that Zegler acted like she was above the project. Reshoots weren't happening for technical reasons. Disney was reportedly trying to fix her performance. Meanwhile, merchandise wasn't selling. Parents were posting online that they didn't even want to take their kids to see the film. Even the trailers didn't help. Fans said the CGI looked cheap, and the overall vibe didn't feel like Disney. It looked more like a low-budget TikTok video than a magical movie, and through it all, Zegler kept acting like nothing was wrong, posting selfies and cryptic captions while the movie sank around her. What was supposed to be Disney's next billion-dollar hit ended up becoming a massive flop. The lesson here? One bad attitude can ruin the whole story. And for Disney, this fairy tale ended in disaster. There's no denying Rachel Zegler is talented. A casting agent even admitted it. But talent alone doesn't carry a career, especially not in Hollywood. Over time, Zegler's confidence started looking more like arrogance. Her interviews sounded smug. Her political rants felt out of touch. And slowly, her name went from rising star to walking red flag. It all started going downhill when she took on the role of Snow White. Instead of embracing the classic fairy tale charm, she criticized the story. She mocked the idea of a prince rescuing the princess. She rolled her eyes at the idea of true love, saying it wasn't empowering. Fans didn't like that. They weren't asking for lectures, they wanted the Disney magic they grew up with.
These big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword.
It's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
They have been making this film for a very long time because it's just been so scandalized. And so they had to basically put it on ice after people were firstly outraged by Rachel Zegler speaking ill about the prior film, the film that she was
People
remaking.
online began to
it's
ask
such a weird thing
if she hated the story so much, why even take the role?
The best thing you can strive to be as a man.
Memes flooded in.
Everything will be great once we
Videos
just
roasting
act
her went
exactly
viral.
Like men. There's nothing
Even
special
casual
being a woman.
fans
Let's
were
just be
checking
men.
out.
It just doesn't
What
feel
should
like
have
we're
been a
winning.
fun
So now
reboot turned
Prince
into
or
a
a
PR
different kind of
nightmare.
Prince?
I'm sure a
Then
lot of people will
came
assume
another
it's a love
firestorm.
story just because we cast
Just
a guy
after the
in the movie,
2024
Andrew
U.S.
Burnap,
election,
great dude.
Zegler
All of
posted a
Andrew's
moody
scenes could get
selfie
cut. Who
holding a
knows?
cup of
It's
what
Hollywood,
looked like
baby.
burnt
Who the
coffee.
hell are you to say all of
Her
Andrew's scenes
caption,
can get cut? Like,
"May
who
you
are
never know
Holy-
peace,"
Are you Disney? I've read your
aimed
book,
at
and
Trump
I have.
supporters.
It's a phenomenal book.
It wasn't just
You're
bold,
losing
it came off entitled and hostile.
of loyal
Conservative
viewers.
voices,
When you
including
think
Megyn
about Snow
Kelly,
White, what
ripped
is the
into her.
premise? What is the story?
Some
It's a
even
story.
called for
It's a
Disney to
love
fire her
story.
immediately.
Dream for a girl to
But instead
grow
of
up
staying
and a
quiet or
man
trying to calm
falls in
things
love.
down,
I'm really
Zegler doubled down. She posted vague apologies saying she got emotional, but nobody was buying it. Her apology felt fake, like a PR move, and not a real reflection of regret. And Disney? They were scrambling. Insiders said reshoots were happening, not for technical fixes, but to try and salvage Zegler's performance. Then came the box office disaster. Snow White finally premiered in March 2025 after delays and drama. But instead of a big opening weekend, it barely made $43 million, far below its $200 million budget. Families skipped it, theaters were empty, and fans online were dragging it hard. The visuals looked cheap. The dialogue sounded like it came from a Twitter thread. People said it didn't even feel like Disney anymore. Even worse, rumors leaked from behind the scenes. Crew members said Zegler was difficult to work with. She reportedly refused direction, stayed glued to her phone, and acted like she was above it all. Some said she even clashed with Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen. And while Disney hoped the film would find life on streaming, that flopped too. The numbers were terrible. Reviews were worse. Most people didn't even finish it. Parents said the story felt hollow and preachy. Kids didn't care. And the merch? Piling up in clearance bins. Meanwhile, Zegler kept posting on social media like none of it mattered. Artsy photos, vague quotes, and no real accountability. Even brands started backing away. Stylists dropped her. Fashion houses stopped inviting her. Quietly, she was being shut out. Industry insiders started calling it the Snow White effect, a warning to studios everywhere. Letting one actor's ego or politics get out of control could sink an entire project. And that's exactly what happened. What was supposed to be a magical comeback turned into a $200 million mess. At the end of the day, fairy tales are meant to bring people together. This one? It split audiences, trashed a legacy, and left fans disappointed. Rachel Zegler had the chance of a lifetime, but instead of honoring the role, she tore it down and took the whole film with her.
And to constantly say things that are like just atrocious because they're looking for attention and they can never have enough of it. They can never have enough of it.